Hello, welcome to the 12th day of October 2025. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily good life meditation. And boy, is it dark! Look at that. See if I can do anything about this. What if I was to move this candle over here? I don't have any good illumination. Oh, maybe this will help. Kind of a flickering light. Let's see. Let's try this. That's interesting. Kind of spooky. Spooky. That might help a little bit. A little candle right there. Well, anyway, let's carry on. Let me see if I can adjust this just a little bit. I still have to figure out how I'm going to do this this new scenario here. Set this up for try something different here. Oh, that's better right there. Set this up for optimal lighting circumstance because it's the season has changed and it's too dark now to be doing this out on my balcony, so I have to do it inside. Try another adjustment here. That'll do for today. All right. Well, welcome to the Good Life Meditation. My name is Kurt. This is an activity that I do each and every morning at around 5:30 a.m. Japan time. I do it for a very deliberate reason. I do this activity is for me to remember and study my my creed, which is outlined in my book Going Alone, which you can read for free at goingalone.org. And I just went in yesterday and cleaned up the homepage a little bit, so it's a little more streamlined. Took out some extraneous bits on the homepage that I wasn't using anymore. I also use this time to think about the last 24 hours, how I did with any noteworthy challenges or opportunities that I met. I plan for the coming day, and I go over some elements of my creed. Not necessarily in that order, though. Hold on. So, welcome to new subscribers to the channel. It's good to have you here at the spooky October Good Life Meditation. I've got to figure something out for this. You know what? What if I increase the brightness of that light over there? But I like it as dim as it is. That's perfect. Never mind. Welcome to new subscribers to the channel. It's good to have you here. Disclaimer that this is a private public journal. What that means is that this is my private diary, but I do it I write this diary, so to speak, in a public sense. So anyone is welcome to watch. Please don't feel any sense of voyeurism, or I do this specifically so that people can come by, because having an audience, so to speak, causes me to do a better job. And I also enjoy your company. I do read and respond to comments, but not until I'm done. Although just now I'll say hi to Michael, who I just saw. I said hi. Hello, Michael. I do talk about sensitive subjects in this video, like death, so be forewarned. And a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters, my YouTube members, and my just those who watch my videos as well. Your support means the world to me and helps me to do what I do. Okay, let's talk about yesterday, the last 24 hours. So this morning was interesting. Usually, I always get up at 4 a.m. and I usually spend the 4 a.m. to 5:30 hour doing what I call the production hour, even though it's 90 minutes. And the production hour is where I take yesterday's videos that I will then make into the Retiring in Japan upload for today. And I compile those, render it, and write a journal entry to go with it, and upload all of that to various social media and prime it on YouTube. It takes me about 90 minutes to do all of that. I didn't do that this morning. The reason is, and this relates to yesterday, I didn't prepare a Retiring in Japan upload yesterday. So I've been talking for a few days now about something that I loosely call the situation that's been happening in my life. That although I'm an open book, I'm not an open book with regard to those in my life. So there's a situation happening with some people in my life back in the United States. And this is the situation that I've been referring to. That's all. That's all I'll say about it. And it got to the point that going into the weekend, I thought that I should go back to America, and I was preparing to do that. So yesterday was spent. I didn't go out and do anything. I stayed home all day, and I prepared to go to America, which was a very good and active endeavor in its own right. It caused me to tie up a few loose ends, clean up a few things, complete a bit of work that I needed to do around here that I because I didn't know how long I might be in America. I was preparing myself to go back for many months, maybe for a very long time, as long as I was needed. One of the nice things about being retired is to have that liberty, right? If I'm needed somewhere, I can go and just stay. So I needed to clean house here. I needed to prepare, and I was going to leave, long, ice or what do they call it? When you give the clues away, I can't remember what we call that. I'm not going to go. So, but I spent all day yesterday preparing to go, and turns out that in the end, I'm not needed. And although I might still go, I was asked to I was asked uh, to wait 2 weeks to see how something turns out, and then at the end of the 2 weeks, then maybe I might be welcome to go. Um, Although my gut feeling is that I won't be welcome to go. That the only circumstance that might cause me to go in is if there's no if if it's if there's no other choice. I mean, I'm ready to go, but if I'm not welcome, if I'm not wanted, you know, there's only so here. Yeah, I think I just kind of outlined it, right? So I can, I will go either when I'm asked to go, or when, and I guess I have to stop beating around the bush and just say it when the person who I think needs me is no longer able to make such decisions on their own. You get the gist, right? So the what came of yesterday's very, very and active effort was that I have tidied up all the loose ends that had been lingering in my life. I mean, it sounds like that's very cumulative, and I guess it is in a way, because I was already I was already ready to die, right? Per my creed. What I didn't have was a few loose ends that were more like the stuff that doesn't matter, if I die or not. But it'd be nice to have done. I cleaned up all those things because like I said, I might have been going over to America for many months or longer, and I didn't, and that was the catalyst and the motivation I had to clean it up. Also, here's the really interesting thing. I did a lot of the hard work necessary to put myself into, and if I was never in the military, but I think that military people might use a term like operational readiness, deployment ready. I can now I can now get to America and ready to go in 72 hours. So if I needed to, if this person pulls the trigger and decides that they want my help, then I can be there in 3 days or less. That is significant because that means that I will talk about something that I have talked about before. I am at liberty to talk about, which is my own mom, right? Because I talk about my mom a lot. I have a very terrible relationship with my mother, um, who um, which I've never been able to fix despite decades and decades of effort. And at this point now, it's basically just I'm waiting and seeing. And I've told people before, and I've said in these videos that I stand ready to fulfill my filial duty, right? Although my mom doesn't, and it's not my mom that this is all related to. so this situation. So it's something else. So, but my mom was on my mind the whole time, because if I'm now as I am now with in ready state. I'm ready to go. If I'm in ready to go, that means that if something comes up with my mom, I can be there for my mom in 72 hours. And I can't begin to describe the peace of mind that comes with this operational readiness that I had not realized that I was missing, because I knew that my mom needing me would cause me to go back to America, right? Um, what I hadn't figured out was the logistics of how that would happen. I knew that it would be complicated. I knew I could pull it off, but I didn't know exactly all the details. Now I got it all figured out. Now this phone that's making the video right now is completely configured and set up, and I have a backup as well. Uh, these two phones are completely set up with everything I need. I don't own a personal computer in my life. One of the things that I decided when I came to Japan, when I came back to Japan, was that I would live my life without a personal computer. And I do borrow my wife's computer for only a few websites that I did when I had my business going, that they had operational stuff that couldn't do I couldn't do without a personal computer, because the mobile app didn't do it. But for the most part, and I'm not doing the business anymore, so I'm freed of that. So I have that all set up. I have the finances all squared. I have the passport situation, plus the flight stuff. My daughter, the travel agent, gave me some good tips about things. I'm ready to go. I'm packed, locked, and loaded. I know I'm belaboring this point. I'm saying it over and over again. But remember, this is my personal journal. If I want to belabor a point, I can do that. Part of belaboring the point is to hammer into my mind the fact that I'm ready and all that that entails. Anybody that needs me back in the States that I need to go back to, I can do it now. So that's what I spent yesterday doing. Now, I could walk all over the map of the Good Life Creed and tell you where I was um, leveraging principles and fulfilling objectives in the activities that I did yesterday. Even my wife, she cleared the decks for me. She and her sister went downtown by themselves and had a field day shopping and having lunch and having fun, and left me alone in the house to tend to all this stuff, which is exactly what I needed. I needed a full day of the decks cleared. It was nice. It was a beautiful rainy day. Just kind of the rain came down, cold, and kind of the day that wants you to huddle inside. And I sat here and did all that, and yeah, oh gosh, I mean, very fulfilling day in that capacity. As for the circumstance that I would be going back to America for, although I'm not at liberty to give details, um, by the end of the day yesterday, I'm not confident. I'm not confident in it, but I believe now that. Okay, it's a funny thing. This is gonna sound out of place, a little bit like a like a like a lieutenant, maybe in a World War I unit that is has soldiers trained and ready to go over up and over the top into no man's land, right? That's what I feel like that going back to America would be a bit like. Before yesterday, I was that lieutenant who really didn't have good reconnaissance about what was out there in the no man's land, hadn't gotten the information back from maybe the scouts that had figured out what kind of actions were going up there, or from the intelligence code busters who maybe were able to get some of the code, get some intercept some of the instructions that the enemy are saying. But now I have all that information. Yesterday, I collected the intelligence. I got the reconnaissance information. I know the lay of the land. I have my troops laid out in the best optimal ways, defensive gunnery in place. If the go order comes, I feel like I'm ready to send the men up and over. That's the men being me. That's how I feel about today now, after yesterday. Okay, let's go over the creed. My creed consists of 8 objectives and 35 principles, which you can read about in Going Alone in the chapter titled The Good Life. The objectives are to be always ready to die, to make good and effective use of my time, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, to cultivate good emotional reactions relative to my values, to recognize my true limits and true opportunities, to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully, to keep my balance. Let me, I have these. Did you guys all see the beautiful little camera? I mean, there it is right there. The little candle stand that I got at the flea market last weekend. There it is right there. Little tiny little thing. This is my reading light. Ooh, it's hot as heck. And I just knocked it over. I should have known that. I just made a mess. Anyway, it's my reading light. And I just love it to death. And I have these little tiny candles that I put it with. I just spilled hot wax on the table. Let me light this again. Because I need to do a little reading. There's little Rudy, kind of bundled up. He likes to listen to the river and listen to the night sounds. That's pretty good. Hey, so now we have a little bit of light. It's coming. I kind of like that. It kind of starts off dark and winds up a little bit lighter. Let's read from the book. I need to read. I'll put this here for a second. I'm going to read the principle today called the principle of maturity. This is principle number 10 on page 257 of Going Alone, the hardbound edition. The principle of maturity. Subprinciple: wisdom, fortitude, and integrity. Maturity is a finely curated collection of experience gained of life trials, both succeeding and failing, and recalled with some accuracy and honest consideration towards improved future ends. Wisdom is the soil where such considerations are plowed, while fortitude is the will and persistence to see the harvest through, and integrity maintains our sound constitution. Maturity is gained with a collection of wisdom, which only becomes useful when we have the fortitude to see what we know is wise through, which then yields the integrity of a life lived in concert and harmony with what we constitute and deem to be wise. All right, for the next 24 hours, it's a Sunday. Well, so no office hours today. It's a Sunday, which means it's a fun day. So I'll be spending time with my wife today. I'm sure we'll pick out something fun to do. It's kind of a rainy day. Maybe we can go back downtown. I don't know, just what will be a good day to see a movie maybe. Who knows? Let's go to reading comments now. Oh, by the way, it's I can't quite see it. It's too dark out there to see the temperature. Inside it's 20, just over 22, about 22 degrees inside. Looks like it's about the same outside. Yeah, about 20. I can't. Humidity looks like it's pretty high in the 90s, like 80s, the high 80s or something. Hello again, Michael Littlejohn. Tim says, good morning. Weather check for the UK at, here's the clock, 9:38 p.m. on the gong. 7.5 C and 96% humidity. Wow, look at you. What's going on? I got this. I'm in the 90s too with the humidity. I know our microclimates have nothing to do with one another, but it's interesting. Synchronicity, serendipity. Humidity, calm, cloudy day, but getting chilly. PF. Hello, PF. Good morning, Softy P. Tim, Michael. Fall is in the air in the Pacific Northwest. Drizzly, cool weather, ideal for coffee. Cheers to you, my friend. Coffee. Go Navy. Go Navy. Tim says, hi, PF. Nelson Robert Stack. I think this is the first time I've seen your name here. Welcome, Nelson. It is really good to have you amongst us. Sarah, hello, Sarah. OKMRA checking in at 15C and 69%. Another typical fall day in Washington State. Good to get the check in, Ray. Glad things are doing well. Hey, there's Claude, newly arrived back in Japan, on making his way, if he's not already there, to Nagoya. He says, the Boy Scouts motto, be prepared and always ready. Wishing you well from this day forward. Greetings to all in Kurtlandia. Elvina, hello, Elvina. Good to see you. Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. We have had a lovely day here in Mimico, Ontario on a holiday weekend, Thanksgiving in Canada. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Canadians. Fall is in the air. Robert's not here. We'll have to extend that to well wishes to him as well and other Canadians. There's Evelyn checking in. Hello, Kurt and fellow listeners. Hope you are all well. Wishing you well as well, Evelyn. Sarah says, I'm happy to hear you were able to work out what your part in the situation will be. You sound a little lighter than like you've made peace with it. P.S. Hope Ollie's appointment went well. Yes, I have made peace with it, so to speak. The situation is still a situation. And I've also made peace with so to speak, with the realities of what might come of this. Yeah, Ollie didn't need to go to the appointment. Turned out he turned around. Thank you for your well wishes for Ollie. He woke up feeling very kinky, very spry, happy little dog, no problem. So we postponed that. Sarah says, just having a morning coffee too. Oh, all right. And Claude says, we'll be there in 2 days. Oh, all right, all right. Well, when you whiz by your bullet train, on your way to Nagoya, when you whiz through Shizuoka, Claude, my home. It will be on. You could literally see my home if you sit on the left side of the bullet train as you go through Shizuoka City, and if you look through the window as you approach downtown, keep your eye out for a kind of an oval-looking large building on the hillside. It kind of looks like a clamshell. That's the Rodin wing of the Shizuoka Prefectural Art Museum. I literally live. I can see that. Well, I can't quite. I can see the mountain. It's right there. It's. I can walk there in about 4 minutes. So when you whiz by, if you are looking out through the left side of the window and you see that clam-shaped building, wave at me, Claude, as you go by, because I live right there. That's the Valley of Tea. There's Little Five. Well, I haven't seen you for a long time friend of the channel from way back in the day. That's good morning. Says good morning, Kurt. I'm glad your eye surgery went well. It went really well, Little Five. I can see very well now in both eyes. I have one more appointment in 2 weeks for the final checkup, and I should be done. I stopped one of the medicines this morning. Well, look at this. This is nice. So I guess the only issue we had earlier was the fact that it was such poor early lighting. But this composition seems pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah. So I don't think there's anything I need to do. Maybe a little more candlelight. Jim Jam Birds isn't here. It's Jim Jam Birds book that I'm signing. That bird's on the alert. Jim Bird's his wife sent me another candle that I have over here. Maybe what I'll do tomorrow morning, if it's dark like this with clouds, I'll enlist Jim Jam Bird's candle and I'll double candle it to have a little more light. What that bird means, if I'm hearing that bird, is that something is alarming it. It's out there in the bamboo forest, and there's something that's made it upset. So I don't know what it is. Something has stolen my wife's water shoes. We had these water shoes, and she had them drying on the front of the house, right at the front door. One of them disappeared, and then the other disappeared. And I keep hearing something big moving in the forest. I think it stole my wife's shoes. All right. Well, with that, folks, I will bring this to an end. I wish you all the best. Thank you all for your well wishes with regard to this situation. It looks like I won't be going to America this week, but we'll check in about 2 more weeks and we'll see. If I do need to go to America, I'm ready. And Little Five says Bigfoot, LOL. Apparently, there is a Japanese Bigfoot society, and I think there's a guy who's a foreigner that kind of is really heavy into that. Oh, Ray says, well, have a wonderful day, Kurt. Tim says, have a great Sunday, Kurt. Sunday. Thank you very much, Tim. I appreciate it. Well wishes to all of you. And let's see if one more time I can show you my little candle holder without getting burned by it. Isn't that just the sweetest little thing from the Meiji period? Okay. Evelyn, well wishes to you. Ciao. Bye bye. Oh, here comes the clock. No.